That seemed like a really cool old-timers game. Did anybody break out there? And,
well, let me tell you, it's
any one-on-one breakout?
But you still get in trouble if he puts you in that mixer on either side of the bucket right there, a foot off the post. You're in trouble, boy.
I feel like we've talked so much this year about 7-footers stepping outside, shooting threes, but Kevin, you were really breaking it down for us there. What went into just the fundamentals of the position before we even get into getting a basketball and putting the ball up in the air?
Yeah, a lot different today, than it was when I played. When I played, my job was basically, get out here, get in front of the group, run as fast as I could, get Isaiah guarding me, so that a guard could open up and get a shot. So my job was always to run the court and then go to work on last year like that. Yeah, he had slow feet, but yeah. But my job was always to collapse the paint. And I collapsed the paint by running hard, getting down here, coming across on cross screens, and playing in here. That made all the guards, made everybody come in tight. We play different now. They set screens and roll and pop and stuff. But I wanted to be good enough that Isaiah had to play here instead of here. A big difference with the guy here thinking, boy, if I'm not here, he's getting ready to kick John Sally's ass, which I did all the time. But and then being here, like, I don't worry about, John's got it handled. And it's 5, 6, 7 feet that you are able to give your teammates by being really active down here. And the game's changed now. You don't see a lot of guys just going down in the post, fighting in the paint, and playing really from the dotted line on down.
How much was it important for you as the point guard to understand what his role was?
Well, that's where the game has significantly changed, because as a player, you had to come to a game with basically a briefcase of understanding and a notebook literally that big of what every single player could do and how they wanted it, where they did it, and the difference between 2 feet, 4 feet, 3 feet. All of those things came into play, and you had to learn and know all of that. Because if you made a mistake, someone took advantage of you. I mean, today, there's 3 things you have to know offensively. You shoot the 3, you drive the basketball, and you make free throws. Those are only 3 things you got to know how to do in today's game. Well, when we played, you had to know how to read cross screens, you had to recognize down screens, you had to recognize up screens. I mean, we talk about side screen and roll, high screen and roll, step-ups. I mean, and there were different ways to play every situation dependent on the personnel that you played. So, you would literally have a book this big of knowledge that you came to the game with, and you had to recall it and recognize it instantly. Like, Mikal got it, on the right block, okay? What does he do on the right block? It's a little different on the left block. And you had to understand all that. When he came to the middle, here, right, and you were coming to double team, okay, here was the split. Boom, right? And then there was Danny Ainge or somebody standing over there in the corner. But if he got you here and Chris jumped, now he's coming back here with his jump hook right off the glass. So you had to understand all of that, and you had to recognize it, and you had to process it quickly. So the great teams and the great players were able to do that. But now you don't have that book of knowledge that you come to the game with. So the game has really been simplified and minimized. So therefore, from a number standpoint, it's easier now to keep track.
And I don't want to blame these guys, but part of it is because of how good they were. And what do I mean? So Kevin McHale is one of the best players, he and Akeem, in my opinion, and put Kareem up there ever in this area right here. And so as a youngster, I would try to make sure I had the jump hook and to go to work inside. But also now I get to play with a guard like Isaiah. So I've seen where Kevin McHale splits and gets to Danny Ainge in the corner. But we talked about, I think we talk about on 201 that Curry has this number of threes. The only reason why guys like Isaiah and them don't have more is because they weren't allowed. You think about it, Larry Bird didn't shoot over 2 threes a game. Yeah. This guy didn't shoot over 3 threes a game. In today's game, it would have. So I came into the game where it was a little bit of that change, and so I would get to play here. But because now I wanted to play with Isaiah and I wanted to help him get open, I could hit him with the dribble handoff, pick him while he's going, and you got to go follow Isaiah. So he becomes a decoy. 2 guys go to him, and now I'm here for an open jump shot. Or because I know a double team is coming, and I throw it to a guard over there, I now flare for Isaiah because they always have to honor him as a shooter, and then I can slip down the middle. And so the way that they played allowed the middle, the things Isaiah was talking about, the cross screens, the up screens, I think that was lost in the transition of the game because when we played, that three-point line looked like it was far out. Like the shots today, you would never imagine someone taking it. And they played with some of the best shooters ever. We're going to talk about high-scoring games later. Yeah. But some of the best players ever. And I think the fact of that evolution of the three-point line brings everybody inherently up here to space the floor. And we got to get a little bit back to that bucket.
And you had to be so good in here to get a shot off.
Yeah.
I mean, just understanding, like you were talking about reading his eyes, you know. There was all type of, you know, technique that came in. You know, we almost practiced judo. I mean, you had to learn, you know, arm technique, swim technique. You had to learn all of that just to get a shot off. And then it was a matter of how skilled you were in here. And that was the challenge. That was the challenge. Like, you know, no, you ain't going to get me with this move. Okay, I got that one. I got this one. And then you're like, oh, I got a 6 move. You know, so
and the thing I really liked, again, Chris did something which really I loved when Chris and I loved his Sacramento teams. They were so much fun to play. They moved everything up, but they had the same principle. It was read and react, read and react, read and react. And read and react basketball is hard to guard because you're not really doing the same thing twice. You're doing something different all the time. And you know, and I think today's game is pretty standard how everybody plays. A lot of threes, drive, spread the court, and you know, go play.
So if you were playing today, you'd be up top shooting those threes.
Now I go down here because I'd score enough. The coach would say, we're going to change up. We're throwing it down there.
Impose your will down there.